for the Principles Management course, and I would like to make sure that the sound and the webcam is working properly. Okay. Do you hear me okay? Right. So let's start. If you are already, please give signs that you are on the class. Right. First, I would like to inform you that the textbook should be available to you in all branches. So please make sure that you do buy the code or the token that permits you to log into the publisher and get the textbook. Have anybody of you did get the textbook yet? It doesn't mean, it's not the cover, but you have the interactive textbooks. I'm not speaking about the hard copy textbook, but you have an interactive textbook directly from the publisher. So make sure that in your branches that you purchase the code and log into the publisher and get your textbook. Right. This is the textbook. It's McGraw-Hill, published by McGraw-Hill, and it's titled Dynamic Business Law. That's the title of the book, Dynamic Business Law. It's the second edition, and it's published by McGraw-Hill. So please do get your textbook, because the detailed material you should have it from the textbook, not the PowerPoint, as I mentioned in the last session. Right? I said McGraw-Hill. Somebody is asking, the publisher is McGraw-Hill, and the book is titled Dynamic Business Law. So I've been informed by the deanship that the books has arrived, and students may purchase the code and the token, and they may log into the publisher and get the book, right? Once again, you have to go to your branch, wherever you are. You have to buy a code or a token or whatever slip that has username and password. You will have to log into the publisher and get what we call an interactive textbook. It's the same book, but it's interactive. It has a lot of tools in it. It's a very useful learning tool. Absolutely not. Somebody is saying, can you rely on the PowerPoint that is on the blackboard? No way you can enter final exam or midterm exam without having the textbook. The textbook, it contains all the material. It contains also the critical thinking problem. It contains a database of the question at the end of every chapter. So it is necessary that you have the textbook. Somebody here is saying, but I have a problem in registration. That's with the deanship. I can't tell you what your problem is or what the solution is. You have to get in touch with the deanship, wherever you are taking the course, whichever branch, and try to solve the registration. If you are speaking about registration the course. But as long as you appear on the blackboard, that means you're registered in the course. Since you have an ID and you can log into Blackboard, that means you register in the course, unless you mean something else by registration. Okay? Oh, sorry, MGT12, that's for principles of management. I've been showing you the book of the business law that's related to the second course. The course you are concerned with is Management, a Practical Introduction. This is the book, Management, a Practical Introduction. That's the book for the second course, the legal environment, right? It is by McGraw-Hill as well. It is by McGraw-Hill, right? And it's titled Management, a Practical Introduction, and it's the 6th edition. Edition 6, right? So it's now available. I've been informed by the deanship. So make sure that you have your textbook here next time. I think the course is the MGT 102, okay? Right. Let's go now to one minute. You have some assignments that you should have done by last session. So let's go very quick through this assignment and see whether or not you have submitted your assignment. In week 1, let me share my PowerPoint with you. Right? So in week 1, you did have an assignment that you should have already submitted before this session. It's okay, I think, for the time being. First assignment was a class member introduction, and it's on your Blackboard in your weekly instruction. You will find it in week 1. It has a purpose, it has an action item, and it has a submission instruction. So you should have seen that in your weekly instruction. It's about the purpose of this assignment is to help you to learn more about the members of your learning community. When you say learning community, it's your classmates, right? Either virtual or face-to-face. So it's a sort of informing people about yourself and letting other people knowing about you. Just a minute, please. Okay, anyway, the assignment that I am speaking about, you do have it in your Blackboard. You do have it in your weekly instruction. So you have, if you go to your weekly instruction, you will find the following content. You will find a brief PowerPoint, that's about 3 to 4 slides. You will find the media video, right? That's about 3 minutes as well. explaining the same PowerPoint available to you, and you will find that you have an assignment here that you should submit. The first assignment is very simple, very clear. It's about informing your classmates or your learning community, as they call it. It's your classmates, people who are on the course with you, the same course with you, and it's about letting people knowing about you and knowing about other people as well who are so to share experiences, to exchange probably cases. So that's the purpose of that what we call class member introduction. So if you do that and submit it, your classmates, your learning environment will know about you, will know about experience. You may exchange ideas, you may exchange as well cases or whatever when needed. You can have the chat room and discussion here as well, right? So you have to submit that as a first assignment, and that will help others and will help you to know the rest of the people. Let's see now what do we have for this week as a material that you should go through. Right. Okay. Now, for this week, you have a topic titled Ethics and Corporate Social Responsibility. This title the slide, if you have a problem of how the slides appearing to you, it's the same slide that it's available on the blackboard, so you can use that slide as well, that PowerPoint. So it is the same PowerPoint. I'm just going through it very quick and trying to end up with the assignment of this week, so you can be able to do your assignment and submit it by the ending before next lecture. So the topic that you have here is called Ethics and Corporate Social Responsibility, and I want just to take your attention that this particular chapter does cross with the legal environment, the first chapter that we did have in the legal environment. For people who are in the business course, we do have a course that's called the legal environment. That's when you speak about legal environment, the problem of ethics and corporate social responsibility does come across. In every society, so does business organization. I said somebody is asking you that you don't have the slide. I mean, it's the same slide that you do have in your blackboard. It's the same slides that you do have in your blackboard. It's available to you on the course. You can download it just as I did here. Okay, I'm trying just to make the connection work properly. I hope it does. If not, you have to follow me through the PowerPoint that you do have in your Blackboard, right? So let's see, just move to what we have to concentrate on this for the next week, for this week, and prepare for the next week assignment as well. So what you have here is two parts. Part one is about ethical corporate and social responsibility, and the second part of that is about the shareholders. So we have to define who are the shareholders to the company. So these are the two parts that you have to consider. This is what are the shareholders, or who are the shareholders. So these are the two parts that you have to discuss, you have to get through. But now, since you do have the textbook, it is very essential that you follow the textbook, right? When we speak about ethics, and social responsibility, as you can see in your textbook, there are two parts of that. There is ethics and there is the social responsibility. If we do not comply with ethical matters in business, in doing business, that means we are confronting the law. That means we are confronting the regulation. That means we are confronting the ethics and the value of the society. That's what we mean by defining ethics and values. Every society has its values. In Saudi Arabia or only Muslim countries, we have a number of values that we have to respect. So we mean as a manager to respect them in our management. We have to take into consideration these values in our production, in our system, in our whatever services that we provide. So we need to take into consideration those values. A society that has a value, a company or a business organization has to respect those values, and that's what we call the ethics, right? What is ethical in some country may not be ethical in other countries, because the values are quite different. So what is permitted in some societies is not permitted in other societies. So we have to define what is ethics, and we have to define it properly, right? This is the starting point of doing that. Then if you go into details, if you go to your chapter in your textbook, you will find that there are a number of approaches on how to define ethical dilemma. When we speak about ethical dilemma, why do we call it a dilemma? We call it a dilemma because people do have different understanding of different values. What is right for certain people may be considered as wrong for other people, right? So we meet as the managers, as a company, when we do behave on behalf of the company, in behalf of our business organization. So we have to define what is the ethics and value. How do we do that? We have a number of ways of doing it. So there are four approaches of deciding the ethical dilemmas. You can go through them and find them very elaborated and explained in your chapter. Now, we have to move to what we call understanding social responsibility. The society does expect from business organization a number of matters that are of importance to the society. Let me give you one simple example here. If you are, for example, in an industry that produces a lot of waste, so it is our responsibility towards the society not to throw our waste just like that. We need to protect the environment, we need to protect the society, and that's what we call social responsibility. Because if we do not comply with that, we will harm the society in different ways, depending on the business we are in. Right. Once you go through this material, you have to see what's your assignment now. Let me first go to the stakeholders, define what the stakeholder, that's the second part. So as I said, we have two parts. Part one is about ethics and social responsibility, and part two is about the stakeholders. When we say stakeholders, the parties that do have central interest in the business organization. These we call them the stakeholders. And these stakeholders can be distinguished into two categories: internal stakeholders within the business organization and externally stakeholders. When we speak about the internal stakeholders, like for example employees, people who are within the organization. They do have interest in the organization, they do have interest in the business of the organization in one way or another. So they do have a personal objective that will be accomplished through the accomplishment of business objective. Those are called or classified as internally objective. We have the task environment as well, where you have a graph that will determine those later on. We will see it in the graph, we will see where the task environment does come. Then we have what we call the general environment, the environment as a whole. All this can be put in a graph, you can see it. So see here the internal, you can see the internally employees, owners, board of directors, shareholders. It's quite different between shareholders and stakeholders. The shareholders, people who do buy the shares of the company. However, the stakeholders, people or parties who have interest in the company. These are so internally what we call stakeholders. The task environment, you can see a lot of them. Competitors, suppliers, distributors. We do have unions, and when we speak here about the trade unions. So the government, because the government is interested in the companies through business law, that's the compliance to ethics and the values, and you have the suppliers, people who supply you with their raw material or finished goods or whatever. You have your distributors, etc., etc., etc. We may call them or classify them as the task environment. The general environment, however, is the overall, and it speaks about the international forces, that's the politics, right, the political legal forces, demographic forces, etc., etc. These are all the far environment that does have effect in the business. Once you go through these chapters here, you are supposed to do your assignment for the week 2, and this is organization stakeholders. It's about the following: listed companies you either work or familiar with. If you don't have a company that you work in, I suggest that you go to the financial market, Tadawul, right? Pick up a company from Tadawul, like Sabiq or Imma or whatever company you choose from Tadawul, right? Or if you do have a company, if you do belong to the company, if you work in the company, you can choose your company, right? So either if you are an employee in a company, so you choose your company, or whatever company that you are familiar with the activity of that company. So you can determine its stakeholders. Once you pick up that company, so try to find the internal and externally stakeholders to that company, to that activity. These are either the people or the party who have indirect interest to the organization activity. Now, an additional task for your assignment include a diagram supported by detailed discussion explaining which stakeholders operate in the general environment, as we have seen in our graph. We have the general environment, we have the internal environment, we have the task environment, etc. So take those stakeholders and try to position them. Are they in the general environment, or in the internal environment, or the task environment? And we submit that before we are having the virtual class or face-to-face class. So this is your task, and this is the material you have to go through. But I repeat, once again, I repeat, you cannot do your assignment, you cannot follow the course unless you have your interactive textbook. Your interactive theory is very rich. It has at the end of every chapter, as I can see here, it has a critical thinking task to do. It has a question that you can that will help you to understand the material and help you to react to a question that will come either in your midterm exams later on. So this is all about this virtual class. Sorry for the problem of logging in and logging out that we did have through this session. We hope that the next session will be face-to-face. If it happens to be virtual class, we hope that our equipment will be working properly. Well, if you do have a question, you have the floor is yours. The mic is yours, so you can ask your question. Somebody said from where we can get the book. In every branch, when you go there, there is the location where the textbooks are for sale to students. Ask where can you purchase a token. A token contains for a username and password, so you buy it for yourself. Once you buy that token, it will direct you that you will log into the publisher and you will buy what we call an interactive textbook. Right? This is the hard copy. It's paper. What you will buy is interactive textbook. It got more material. It helps you to read on how to do your assignment. It helps you. It gives you the answer of the question at the end of every chapter. This is what we call what we mean by interactive textbook. And now I've been informed that it is available to well, if you need this, if you want to buy the hard copy, that's quite different. But I think the interactive textbook is a much better learning tool more than the hard copy. Otherwise, you have to buy it from the publisher as well. You can buy hard copy from the publisher if you want to. You mean in the city branch? Yes. I mean, if you are in Dammam, it's available in Dammam. If you are in Jeddah, it's available in Jeddah, and so on. Okay. Somebody says, are we going to continue like this? I did inform you last session that these virtual classes is going to continue for 2 weeks. That means last week and this week. We are supposed to start face-to-face classes as from next week. This is the estimation. We expect that all instruction will be in place and face-to-face classes then will take place as well as from next week. So these virtual classes will no longer be for everybody. We will have the virtual classes that are scheduled for every single section, for every single instructor. I didn't understand. A separate question, I didn't understand what you mean by, do you mean it is in our university? I didn't get what you mean. For how long will you study this way? I just answered your question. Yes, I said about the assignment, you should start submitting your assignment for week 1 and week 2.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I want to ask Doctor, is the book available in our university or I should buy it from outside?
It is available in the university, in the branch. Where are you studying here? Are you in Riyadh or Dammam or where?
I am in Riyadh.
In Riyadh. It's available here at the university. You come to the university on the ground floor, and you will see that there is a desk where you can purchase the username and password. Then you log into the publisher and get the interactive textbook.
So, Doctor, also for other books, other books also available in...
a number of courses. What I am quite sure that I know that the management, legal environment, the books for the IT school as well has arrived. Probably all the books are, but I'm speaking on behalf of the School of Management. The books did arrive. And I suppose that all the textbooks did arrive for other classes as well, for other courses as well. Because I've been handed a copy of the book by the college. So I suppose that other courses they have arrived as well.
Okay, Doctor, I'm sorry. If for about the last session and this session and next session, there is no face-to-face meeting?
No, for week 1 and week 2, there is no face-to-face meeting. We have replaced the face-to-face meeting with this virtual class. But as the schedule has been handed to us, as from next week, we will start face-to-face meeting.
That means if I have tomorrow, my schedule will be tomorrow.
No. I said next week.
Okay. What about...
Not this week. This week there is no face-to-face lectures.
As you know, next week we have a National Day holiday, and most people also getting some vacation after the National Day to keep all the week vacation. So what about our absence?
I'm very sorry, but I can't reply. But I don't know about the holidays. But you can address your question to the Deanship of Admission and Registration. They have all the information. They inform us as well as a teacher whether or not there are classes that in attendance or not.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I have many questions. Sorry for that. What about this days? I mean, this week, the first 2 weeks. Is it mentioned we are absent or no? No. I mean, week 1 and week 2, we replaced the face-to-face classes with the virtual classes, and we will not consider that as an absence at all. But please follow the website. An announcement will be made to you by the deanship that the face-to-face classes will start as from next week, and they will have a different schedule. It's the original schedule. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll have to finish here because the next virtual class will be coming in half an hour time for the second course, and wish you all the best with your course and with your exams, inshallah.
Sorry, Doctor. The last day for the assignment in this week.
The last what?
Last day I mean deadline.
The last date is before you come to your next class.
Okay, thank you.
Before you come to your next class, you should have submitted your assignment. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all for attending the class, and we wish you all the best.